chosen ones. Here's why you should be grateful for low vibration mode. There is a profound truth that most people overlook, and it is this: the moments in which you feel the lowest, the weakest, the most lost, these are not curses, these are gifts, but only if you have the wisdom to see them for what they truly are. You, the chosen one, have likely faced moments of darkness so deep that you questioned everything. You have endured stretches of suffering that made you wonder if the universe had abandoned you. But what if I told you that these moments were not meant to destroy you, but to refine you? What if I told you that your lowest vibration is not a sign of failure, but a secret doorway to the next evolution of your soul? Imagine this. You are walking through a dense, fog-covered valley. The sky is grey, the air is thick, and every step feels heavy. This valley is the space of low vibration, depression, doubt, fear, exhaustion. It is the place where many people stop walking entirely, believing they are lost forever. But what they don't realize is that this valley has a path, and that path, if followed with patience and understanding, leads to a mountain. The chosen ones are those who dare to keep walking, who dare to use the valley as a training ground rather than a prison.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You see, low vibration states are not random. They are precise, intentional phases of your transformation. Think of a caterpillar inside its cocoon. If you were to look at it mid-process, it would seem like the creature was dissolving into nothingness. It would look like destruction. But in truth, that chaos is simply the process of becoming something greater. Your moments of despair, they are the cocoon. Your suffering is the alchemy that breaks down who you were, so you can emerge as who you are meant to be. But here's the mistake most people make. They resist. They fight against their low vibrations, trying to escape them, numb them, or deny them, and in doing so, they miss the lesson. Imagine a person drowning in a river. The more they panic, the more they sink. But if they surrender, if they allow themselves to float, they will be carried to the shore. Low vibration states are like that river. If you fight them, they consume you. But if you surrender to them, if you trust them, they will take you exactly where you need to go. So, let's get practical. How do you actually use low vibration states as a tool for growth rather than a trap? The first step is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Your suffering is not random, it is a message. Every fear, every doubt, every exhaustion is pointing to something unresolved within you. If you are feeling lost, it is because you have outgrown the old version of yourself, but have not yet stepped into the new one. If you are feeling drained, it is because your soul is demanding that you let go of what no longer serves you. The second step is to stop running. Sit with the discomfort, meditate on it. Instead of distracting yourself with noise, be still. Let the low vibrations speak. What is it revealing? What patterns in your life are no longer sustainable? Where have you been ignoring your truth? What illusions have you been clinging to? The chosen ones understand that pain is not something to escape, it is something to listen to. The deeper the pain, the greater the wisdom hidden within it. And here's the most powerful truth of all. Your low vibration state is temporary. It is a cycle, a season. Have you ever noticed that after a storm the air feels fresher? That after winter, spring always comes? The same law applies to you. No matter how deep your suffering, it will not last forever. But whether you emerge from it stronger or weaker depends entirely on how you engage with it. So let me ask you, what if your suffering is not an obstacle, but an invitation? What if this low moment in your life is not a punishment, but a doorway? What if, instead of trying to escape it, you walked through it with your eyes open? What would you find on the other side? The secret power hidden in your darkest moments. There is a reason why the universe allows you to sink into low vibration states. It's not because you are weak, not because you are cursed, and certainly not because you are unworthy. It's because the darkness holds something you need, something that cannot be found in the light. Think about it. When do people truly change? When do they experience the most profound transformation? It's rarely when life is easy, when everything is flowing effortlessly. No, true transformation happens in the struggle, in the discomfort, in the depths of what feels like complete destruction. You see, most people misunderstand darkness. They think it is the enemy. They think it exists to drag them down, to break them, to ruin them. But what if darkness is actually the teacher? What if it is the guardian of the greatest wisdom you will ever receive? Imagine walking into a completely dark room. At first, your instinct is to panic. You can't see anything, you feel disoriented, maybe even afraid. But if you stand there long enough, something incredible happens. Your eyes adjust. You start to see outlines, shapes, patterns that were invisible before. The darkness hasn't changed, but your perception has, and suddenly, what once felt terrifying becomes something you can navigate. This is exactly how low vibration states operate. At first, they feel unbearable. They feel like an endless abyss, like a weight you cannot lift. But if you stop resisting, if you allow yourself to truly be present in the experience, your perception shifts. You start to see the truth hidden beneath the suffering. You start to understand things about yourself that were previously invisible. You begin to notice what is out of alignment, what is false, what is holding you back. And that is where the real power is. But here's the challenge. Most people never stay in the darkness long enough to receive its gift. They distract themselves. They numb themselves with entertainment, with substances, with meaningless distractions, anything to avoid feeling the discomfort. But you, the chosen one, have a different path. Your task is not to escape the darkness, it is to master it. To look it in the eye and ask, what are you here to show me? Because the moment you do that, the moment you stop running and start listening, the darkness transforms from an enemy into a guide. And here's something even deeper to consider. What if your lowest moments are actually proof that you are on the verge of something extraordinary? Think about it. Before a seed breaks through the soil, it is buried in complete darkness. Before a rocket launches into space, it experiences the greatest pressure. Before you awaken to your highest self, you must be stripped of everything that is false. Could it be that your suffering is not a sign of failure, but a sign of preparation? That you are being refined, strengthened, tested, so that when your moment comes, you are truly ready? Let's make this practical. When you find yourself in a low vibration state, instead of asking, how do I get out of this? Ask, what is this revealing to me? Sit with the discomfort. Observe the thoughts that arise. Where is your mind going? What emotions are surfacing? What old wounds are being triggered? Because here's the truth. Low vibration states are not random. They are mirrors. They show you exactly where you are still holding on to fear, where you are still chained by limiting beliefs, where you are still carrying pain from your past. And if you have the courage to face these things instead of running from them, you will break through in ways you never imagined. But here's the paradox. The moment you stop resisting your low vibration state, it begins to lose its power over you. The suffering lessens. The heaviness starts to lift. Because suffering is not caused by pain itself, it is caused by your resistance to pain. The moment you surrender to the experience, fully accepting where you are without judgment, you create space for healing, for clarity, for transformation. So let me ask you, what if your lowest moments are not the end of your journey, but the beginning of something greater? What if, instead of trying to escape the darkness, you walked into it with trust? What would you discover about yourself? What strength, what wisdom, what hidden power is waiting for you on the other side? How low vibrations are secretly upgrading you for your greatest breakthrough. Most people see low vibration states as a step backward, as if falling into darkness means they are losing progress. But what if I told you that every moment of heaviness, every wave of exhaustion, every emotional collapse is actually a sign that you are being upgraded? That the very thing you are trying to escape is the thing that is shaping you into someone far more powerful than you can currently comprehend. The universe does not make mistakes. Energy moves in cycles, not straight lines. And just like the tide pulls back before it surges forward, your moments of retreat, of stillness, of suffering are not regressions. They are the gathering of momentum before your next great rise. Think about this. When a snake is about to grow, it sheds its skin. But before that shedding happens, the snake becomes vulnerable. Its old skin becomes tight, uncomfortable, suffocating. If you were to look at it in that moment, you might think something was wrong. You might think it was weak, struggling. But in reality, it is in the final stages before transformation. It is letting go of what no longer fits, so that it can expand into something greater. You, the chosen one, are no different. Your low vibration states are not signs of failure. They are the pressure building before the breakthrough. They are the proof that the old version of you is dissolving, making space for something far more powerful to emerge. Yet most people never realize this. They mistake discomfort for destruction. They assume that if they are feeling low, if they are struggling, it must mean they are on the wrong path. But in reality, the chosen ones are often tested the hardest right before they rise. The universe does not put great challenges in front of those who are meant for small things. If you are experiencing deep lows, it is because you are being prepared for extraordinary highs. The question is, will you endure the discomfort long enough to receive the reward? Here's something most people overlook. Low vibration states are not just emotional, they are physical. When you are about to experience a major shift in consciousness, your body often reacts first. You might feel drained, unmotivated, even physically weak. Why? Because your energy is being recalibrated. Your system is detoxing old frequencies, clearing out outdated programming, making room for a new level of awareness. But instead of seeing this as part of the process, most people assume something is wrong. They try to force themselves back into action, back into their old ways. They resist the stillness, the fatigue, the void, and in doing so, they delay their own transformation. The chosen ones understand that there is wisdom in the pause, that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to surrender to the process, to trust that even when nothing seems to be happening on the surface, profound shifts are occurring beneath. A caterpillar inside its cocoon is not lazy. It is not failing. It is undergoing a complete transformation, even though from the outside it looks like nothing is happening. Your low vibration states are the cocoon phase. They are the sacred space where your next level is being formed. The only mistake you can make is to try to break out too soon, before you are fully ready. So, how do you navigate this phase without losing yourself in it? The key is to shift from resistance to awareness. Instead of panicking when you feel low, observe it. Pay attention to what is surfacing, what thoughts are coming up, what emotions are being triggered, what patterns are you being forced to confront. Because every low vibration state is a mirror, it is showing you exactly where your energy is still entangled in fear, where your mind is still clinging to outdated beliefs, where your heart is still carrying wounds that need to be healed. The moment you stop seeing these states as obstacles and start seeing them as teachers, everything changes. And here's the most powerful truth of all. The deeper the low, the higher the rise. Every moment of suffering is accumulating energy, building pressure, preparing you for the next expansion. But only if you allow it. Only if you trust the process instead of fighting it. Only if you understand that every breakdown is secretly a build-up in disguise. So let me ask you, what if your exhaustion is not a sign of weakness, but a sign that you are being prepared for something far greater than you realize? What if, instead of trying to push through it, you allowed yourself to fully experience it, to receive the wisdom it holds? What would happen if you stopped fighting the process and started trusting it? The awakening hidden in your struggles. The moment everything changes. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the struggle begins to make sense, when the suffering that once felt endless suddenly reveals itself as the very thing that shaped them into who they were always meant to be. This is the moment of awakening. But it does not arrive through force or resistance. It arrives through surrender and deep understanding. You see, the greatest irony of low vibration states is that they only hold power over you for as long as you fear them. The moment you stop seeing them as enemies and start recognizing them as sacred initiations, they lose their grip. They transform from chains into stepping stones, from burdens into doorways. And when that shift happens, when you finally understand why you had to go through the darkness, you will never be the same again. Think about this. Every great master, every enlightened soul, every person who has ever transcended into a higher state of being has walked through the fire of suffering. There is no exception. Buddha, Jesus, every ancient sage, they all faced unimaginable hardship before they reached their awakening. Why? Because suffering is the great purifier. It strips away the illusions, the false identities, the attachments that keep you small. It forces you to confront the deepest parts of yourself, the parts that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. And when you finally look at those parts without fear, When you embrace your darkness instead of running from it, you unlock something that very few ever do: true freedom. Most people will never understand this. They will spend their entire lives trying to outrun their low moments, numbing themselves, distracting themselves, avoiding the very experiences that were designed to set them free. But you are not most people. You are a chosen one, and that means your path is different. It means your struggles are not meaningless, they are sacred. It means your suffering is not a punishment, it is a calling. It means your darkness is not an obstacle. It is an invitation to step into the highest version of yourself. But here's the catch. Awakening is a choice. The universe will give you every opportunity to rise, but it will never force you. You can continue to resist, to see your challenges as unfair, to fight against the process, or you can surrender, not in weakness, but in ultimate strength. Because true surrender is not giving up, it is stepping fully into trust. It is saying, I may not understand why this is happening, but I trust that it is leading me exactly where I need to go. And that kind of trust changes everything. So how do you step into this awakening fully? The first step is radical acceptance. Stop labeling your low moments as bad. Stop believing that something is wrong with you just because you feel lost or drained. Instead, start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every low vibration state carries a message, a lesson that, if understood, will elevate you to levels you never imagined. The second step is presence. Most suffering comes not from the situation itself, but from the mind's resistance to it. When you fully embrace the present moment, when you stop projecting fear into the future or regret into the past, you realize that even in your lowest states, there is peace available to you. And the final step? Rebirth, because that is what this entire process has been leading up to. The old version of you, the one who was ruled by fear, by doubt, by attachment, is dying. The suffering you have endured was not to break you, it was to burn away everything that was never truly you. And what remains? Purity, strength, power, a version of you that no longer sees struggle as something to escape, but as something to integrate, a version of you that no longer fears the darkness, because you now understand that darkness is simply the womb of transformation. So let me ask you, one last time, what if your entire journey up until this moment has been preparing you for something greater than you can even comprehend? What if every low vibration state, every breakdown, every moment of suffering was never meant to harm you, but to awaken you? And what if right now you are standing at the edge of your own transformation with only one question left to answer? Will you step through? Because the truth is, the moment you say yes to the process, the moment you stop resisting and start trusting, the moment you finally embrace every part of your journey, including the darkness, that is the moment everything changes. That is the moment you rise. That is the moment you become everything you were always meant to be.